Hola, minasan! Welcome back for another round of Tabletop Gaming. Or a walkthrough. Today I'm covering my Sisay Weatherlight Captain Commander deck. Gonna do another walkthrough. As usual, I hope you all enjoying these walkthroughs. I see you all in the views, and I see you all your views there. Nevertheless, Sisay Weatherlight Captain is a very unique card because it's left-handed. I'm sure you probably saw it on the list of my current decks and, of course, the title, and wondering what the heck is a left-handed card. Well, apparently there was a special event many years ago when this card got released, and a set of cards were made that were left-handed for players who are left-handed. I never seen a left-handed player before. I don't know how that works to begin with, but I'll trust I'll trust that. Yeah, they knew what they were designing. But Sisei's Weatherlight Captain deck was kind of a happy accident. Originally, it was supposed to be Kyodai, Solo Kamigawa, because the rules of Commander when it comes to building a deck is that your Commander identity has to match the colors you play. And what happens is that I don't have legendary creatures outside of the Sliver Hive Lord and the first Sliver, which is for Sliver decks. I don't have any rainbow monsters in any way, shape, or form, any legendaries. So Kyodai was one that I picked up, which was a spirit dragon from Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. But I found the better card for at least for this deck, at least a little better in terms of commander identity. And that's to say, Weatherlight Captain. She's a white creature, and her commander identity is all 5 colors. And as per the commander rules, that allows me to make a rainbow deck. And the rainbow deck that I've built is a very unique rainbow deck. In fact, I had to get certain cards from this little box here, this little precon called Upgrades Unleashed from Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. These very unique cards features Shishiro, the Shattered Blade, which is in this deck. You'll see soon enough. But yeah, I actually liked what Neon Dynasty. I really love Neon Dynasty. First of all, it was a great set for me to come back in after 13 years. Even though it was like a full year ago, it came out in 2022, I think. Neon Dynasty. So I was a little late to the party on that because there were already like 5 sets in by the time I came back over the summer, in the late summer. Came back into Magic, but Neon Dynasty was still on sale. So yeah, I completely jumped into Neon Dynasty and just loved the cards that were in it. And this set of cards come from Kamigawa and are exclusive to Kamigawa at the moment. We don't know if they're gonna even make a comeback, but what they did, this particular effect, is a very similar effect that I had come across back when I entered Magic the Gathering. Ironically enough, well, I don't know if that's irony. I don't know, that seems like a Alanis moment here. Basically, they do the same thing that this particular group did when I came in during the Tempest block. I came in at the very late stages of 5th edition. 6th edition was around the corner. So I was collecting Visions and Mirage along with Tempest and Stronghold and later Exodus. And these particular little beings do the very same thing this particular group of beings do. A little differently, though. Very, very differently, but they were so confusing, much like banding. They were never either reprinted or expanded upon. Like, they were cast aside. Because they have very, very, very unique rules. In fact, I may have to pull up... I should have thought about this, but I'm going to have to pull up the comprehensive rules so I can show you the what this particular thing does. But we gotta first do the walkthrough, and then after the walkthrough, I'm gonna show you some of the cards that I want to do, that I want to insert, that I would like to insert, and let's see here. Oh yeah, I forgot that's a lot here. Okay, 700s, perfect. Usually it's in the 700s here, but that's not what I'm looking for in the 700s actually. Let's see. Uh-oh, I can't find it. I can't find it. Oh, what would it fall under? Wait. Well, we'll search through that later on. Right now, you all want to see the walkthrough. Say hello to Sisay Weatherlight Captain. Left-handed. This is what a left-handed card looks like. This is what a right-handed card looks like. It's weird, isn't it? It's very hilarious. But yeah, that's the difference between left-hand. Oh, I spoiled. Oh no. I spoiled everything. Yep. Actually, I already spoiled it when I showed upgrades, the upgrades box. But here's what Sisay does as my commander. She costs only one mana, 2 generic, legendary creature, human soldier. Sisay gets +1/+1 for each color among other legendary permanents I control. That's something that I'll probably have to talk with the judges with. But for all 5 colors, I can search my library for a legendary permanent card with mana value less than Sisay's power, and put that card onto the battlefield and shuffle. So it's a free drop. It's a free drop for a legendary permanent. So you can pretty much guess where this deck is going, where it's leaning towards. But it's not leaning towards there. No, it's not. But yeah, she's a 2/2 creature, so she gets pumped up, and she'll be able to help search. Basically, it's kind of like a poor man's Cascade. It's a very, very light Cascade because you're not milling through the cards and exiling them like Cascade and Discover does. You just search. You just gotta make sure it's less than the value of Sisay's power. So if Sisay's power is 5, you got to get a 4 mana costing legendary permanent, and nothing else. So yeah, let me put it this way. For those of you out there who are building commander decks, if you don't know what kind of commander you want to start with, I highly recommend for your first ever commander deck to be a commander that either draws cards, Cascade, discovers, or searches like Sisay. Just start out with that, because this way you can get used to getting your cards out, and you can start operating your strategy. There's a lot of commanders out there. Well, there's a whole lot of legendary cards out there, quite honestly, that don't do that. So I would say for beginners out there, get yourself a Sisay, get yourself a Shotokai, Sithis, Harvest Hand, Pantlaza that has Cascade. The first sliver that Pantlaza has Discover. First sliver has Cascade. Anybody that can let you search and put a card out in the field, or draw a card and put it into your hand. Start with those. Just so that way you could be able to have access to your library as quickly as possible, and you can be able to work your strategy out. And once you get a good handle on all the mechanisms and nuances of Commander, then start going for creatures that don't have that kind of ability. Legendaries that don't have search capabilities, and make your most awesome advanced deck out of it. So yeah, that's my recommendation for all the starters out there if you're interested. That's why a lot of my commander decks have searching or cascading, drawing cards, and so on. Because they're awesome. Those are the best type of commanders to have. Quite honestly, I think they're the superior commanders. But I definitely believe that they're excellent for beginners. Anybody who wants to start, that's my high recommendation. Pick use a commander that can draw, cascade, discover, or search for cards, and you'll be fine. It'll help you out. They're very good. Basic lands. I have a forest. Four forestesses. I have 4 plainses. 4 plainses. Yes, 4 plainses. It's very plain. It's plain Maine on the land of Spain. Then I have 4 islandses. 4 islands. 4 islandses. 4 islandses. Very good basic stuff here. I got 4 mountainses. 4 mountainses. Have fun with the 4 mountainses. And finally I have 4 swampesses. Always have the 4 swampesses when doing a rainbow deck. So that's your base lands. In a nutshell, 5 of them. It's a little bit small. I mean, technically I should be playing 5. But I decided to play with 4 each because I have particular cards, non-basic lands that can help me out, fetch lands basically. So I don't have to worry about drawing them out. I also have a very special card that can also help me on this here. But let's take a look at the non-basic lands. I got Rugged Highlands. Enters the battlefield tapped. I gain a life when it enters the battlefield, and I can tap for red and green. Here's the first of the fetch lands. Terramorphic Expanse. Tap into sacrifice. Search your library for a basic land card, and put it onto the battlefield tap, and then shuffle your library, which is pretty good. Then I have Exotic Orchid. Add 1 mana of any color that a land and opponent controls could produce. So it's a good way to siphon off from your opponent. It's a Felwar stone. Well, it's a Felwar land. There we go. Felwar land. Evolving Wilds. A tap into sacrifice and sacrificing it. You search your library for a basic land card. Put it into the battlefield tap. Then shuffle your library. So great access to your basics if you're mana screwed or anything. Mistvault Bridge. It's an artifact land. Comes into play tapped, indestructible. Add blue and or black. You can tap for blue or black. I want to get actually more of these. I really like the artifact lands, quite honestly, because they're artifacts. I know that they got like double, but I don't know. Well, it's because they're indestructible. Actually, that's why I want I want these also. I'm short 1 for my first sliver deck, and I want to get more of these for my Sisay deck. It's really an awesome card. The artifact lands can't be destroyed. Indestructible. Excellent. Tranquil Cove. Enters the battlefield tapped. Gain life. You gain 1 life. You tap for a white or a blue. Thorn. Hey, get in there. Get back over there. Thornwood Falls. Enters the battlefield tap. Gain 1 life. And you tap for a green or a blue. Very simple. Then we have Jungle Hollow. Enters the battlefield tap. Gain 1 life. Tap for black or green. Windscarred Crag. Enters the battlefield tap. Gain 1 life. Add red or white. So yeah, it's a good substitute. They're pretty good. Those lands. You gain 1 life, but you gain 1 life. It's not as awesome as this artifact land, the Silver Bluff Bridge, where it's indestructible, and you get to tap for a blue and a red. Comes into play tapped. Then we got the Drawsforge Bridge. Again, indestructible. Comes into play tapped. Tap for a black and a red. This one is Promising Vein. This one is in the Lost Caverns of Ixalan. You could tap for 1 colorless mana. And if you tap for 1 mana, tap the land and sacrifice the vein. You can search your library for a basic land card and then put that to the battlefield tap and shuffle. So yeah, in a way, I don't know if that would work. I was thinking that you could tap for the mana, but no, it's 2 separate physical abilities, so you can't really stack them on each other and get away with that. But again, it's another good fetch land. This one is from the Lord of the Rings, the One Ring to rule them all. It does the same thing as the Bane. This is Shire Terrace. You tap for generic mana. 1 mana, tap, and a sacrifice of the Terrace, and you could get a basic land card and put into the battlefield tap. So those are my 4 fetch lands. Pretty good fetch lands. Get anything. The standard staple command tower. Tap for any color of your commander's identity, which is all 5 colors of the rainbow. And here it is. This is what the deck is really about. It's not about the legendaries. It's not about the rainbowness. It's about Reconfigure. And here how it works. We got Cloudsteel Kieran, artifact creature, equipment Kieran, flying. Equipped creature has flying, and you can't lose the game, and your opponent can't win the game. Reconfigure 5. So how does Reconfigure work? Reconfigure works is very simple. It basically is equipment. It's an equipment ability, and basically right now the creature is sorry, let me put it here. All right. So right now it's a creature. It's a 3/2 creature. You pay the reconfigure cost, and you can attach it as an equipment. Well, I can't say spell, but it becomes an equipment, and the equipped creature gets that extra ability. So right now, Cloudsteel Kieran has the flying ability, but it doesn't have the equipped creature ability. It's going to give the equipped creature the extra ability. That's basically how equipment creatures work. And what's interesting about equipment creatures is that, one, they don't tap when you attack. When they're equipped, sorry. When you can attack them freely, and they'll tap normally when you attack them on their own. So Cloudsteel Kieran with flying, I can attack my opponent for 3, tap it, normal, done. But if I reconfigure and attach it, and I attack with Sisay, let me get Sisay out. Sisay! Here's Sisay. So she's equipped with this. When I attack, I only tap Sisay. I don't tap the Kieran. He stays like this, and I do my attack. I fly. I do the 2 damage. My opponent can't win the game, but I can win the game, according to Kieran. And then what happens is this. Let's say you block. You block Sisay. She dies. She's removed. Unlike equipment, just like the equipment rules, being that this is an equipment, it drops back onto the ground. It doesn't disappear like the enchantment auras do. And what happens is that the Kieran becomes a creature again. It turns back to a creature. I'll show you in the comprehensive rules more further stuff on what it can do, all the little tricks it can do. But it's a little trick deck, basically. That's the whole idea. It's a trick deck with Reconfigure, because the tricks that it does is pretty cool. Here's how the rules. Here's what its reminder text says. When you pay 5 generic mana, attach to target creature you control, or unattach from a creature. Reconfigure only as a sorcery, so it has sorcery speed. And while attached, this isn't a creature, so it loses its creatureness and becomes an equipment, and becomes an equipment, no different than a Bone Splitter or a Shuko or any of the other equipments. But when it's not equipped, it becomes a creature, a Kieran type, that's a 3/2 flyer. Oh, you're gonna love the shenanigans. So here are the rest of my equipment creatures. Some that I got from the Upgrades Unleash deck, and others that I got from the Neon Dynasty deck. You'll only find them in Neon Dynasty at the moment. Don't know if they're gonna be gonna print, create more Reconfigure later down the line. I guess it all depends on the thematics or something, or if they revisit Neon Dynasty. I hope they do. Reconfigure is really awesome. Honestly, I love Reconfigure. So from the Precon deck, we got Tanuki Transplanter, Equipment Dog. Whenever Tanuki Transplanter or equipped creature attacks, add an amount of green mana equal to its power. Until end of turn, you don't lose this mana as steps and phases end. And this is pretty awesome because you can generate this particular green mana, not any of the other mana. All the other mana will go away. If you tap for white mana and you generate the green mana will carry over, but the white mana disappears. So you can't shenanigan this. But what's also cool about equipment creatures is that they can share the same abilities as their equipment abilities. So Tanuki Transplanter can do the same exact thing, and if you attach it to a creature, it will do the same exact thing, and you'll get mana for that. Excuse me. Sorry. Wow, that came out of nowhere. Its reconfigure cost is 3 mana, which is not bad for a mana dork. This is a very good mana dork, and make a mana dork out of your own creature. And it's only 4 mana to cast, which is pretty good. And it's a 2/4 creature, so he can defend himself very easily. Sorry. Wow, that was crazy. Next up is Lizard Blades. This is an alternate art. I love this one better than the regular art. Equipment Lizard, double strike. Equipped creature has double strike, and you reconfigure for 2. So you only have to pay 2 mana to cast. Reconfigure for just 2 mana, and you turn this 1/1 lizard sword creature into a double striking equipment card. So yeah, that's pretty powerful. Getting a double strike. That's why That's why I like about the reconfigures. It's the effects that they start with is actually pretty good. There's only like maybe 2 of them that I don't like. One of them is the helmet one, where it's a walking head straight out of the Thing. The next one is Bronze Plate Board, a very good one. It's a 3/2 trampler. When it equips the creature, when it's reconfigured and equips the creature, the equipped creature gets +3/+2, and has trample itself. It's a 5 cost on the reconfigure. But being able to make your creature giving your creature a 3/2 boost with trample is actually pretty solid, and it's not bad for 3 mana. And again, with 5 mana, it's generic, so you're gonna have access to it. That's what the good thing about most of the reconfigures is that they're generic mana. There's a few that aren't, but those that are generic, they really have some solid abilities. This one is Arm Guard Familiar, blue. Equipment Beast. This has Ward 2, another effect that I ended up liking more than I should. Ward for 2 mana. Whenever this permanent becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, counter it unless that player pays 2. So Ward is basically installed mana leak, which is pretty awesome. So the Arm Guard Familiar comes with this effect for itself. And if you equip the creature, it gets +2/+1 and has Ward 2 as well. Its reconfigure cost is 4 mana, so that's actually pretty solid. That's what the beast looks like? Looks like an owl. Interesting. This one I didn't get out of the packs. I had to. I bought this single, very cheap, on the cheap, very good. This is Blade of the Oni. It's an equipment demon. It has menace. And it comes with menace for itself. And when you equip the creature, it has power and toughness 5/5 base power. So if it's got so be very careful with who you equip it with. If you equip it on a creature that's a 7/5, it'll become a 5/5 creature. It completely replaces its base power. This is good for creatures that are like 1/1s or 2/2s. Great for Sisay because she's a 2/2. You can make her a 5/5 demon. Give her a base 5/5 demon, and they'll have menace as well. But the creature type, they'll have black. They'll get the black color, so you'll have a white and black creature if you attach the Sisay and so on, and a demon type. In addition to its original colors and its type, so you can have a white black creature, a blue green black creature, and so on. There'll be a demon type, so be very careful. And this is the first of a few cards where you need specific colors for reconfigure. This requires 2 black and 2 generic mana. So make sure you have your colors in your rainbow deck. This here is the Acquisition Octopus. Equipment Octopus. Oh, that's a pretty cool picture. I'm not paying attention to the pictures here. So its ability, Its own ability is the same as the equipped creature ability. So whenever Acquisition Octopus or equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. 2 on the Reconfigure. So that's not bad for a card draw. You still have to do damage. It's a 2/2 creature on its own. But Reconfigure 2 to have access to card drawing is pretty good. And it could draw the card on its own or give the equipped creature the ability to draw a card. Very good. And this one is Black Equipment card, Leech Gauntlet. Behold the Hand. Its thing. It's got lifelink, and when it equips with a creature, that creature also gets lifelink. 4 generic mana. This is very straightforward. 2/2, not bad. Not bad for a 2/2. And it's very straightforward. It doesn't offer any boost, but lifelink is already a boost onto itself. And this one is a very awesome one. Here is the, what is it called? The Greaves? The Lightning Greaves? Here's its equivalent. Rabbit Battery, 1 red mana. It comes with haste on its own, it's a 1/1 creature. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 and has haste also, and its Reconfigure is just 1 red. That's it. This is by far the most awesome card among the equipment creatures because you can it's just 1 mana. Attach it, do your haste, and then unattach it, and it becomes a 1/1. And it becomes a 1/1 blocker. But you could be able to give every creature you throw in there haste at any time. Every time you play a creature, you spot up for haste, and you could swing right away and get that +1/+1 boost. What a utility card that is. Very phenomenal. Excellent card. Anytime you play anything that involves equipment, make sure you have Rabbit Battery on there. I believe that's a staple. A very solid staple. It should be in every deck that involves equipment. There's no reason not to have it. And then you get a blocker on top of that. The Reality Chip. This one I actually drew out of the pack. I paid it no mind until I started working on my Shotokai deck, and then I was just moving it all over the place. Well, no, it was in my Shotokai deck. It stayed entirely in my Shotokai deck until I came up with this deck. The Reality Chip is a legendary artifact creature, which is good for Sisay when searching for with Sisay. I could get the Reality Chip out. What it does is that I may look at the top card of my library anytime, and as long as the Reality Chip is attached to a creature, you may play lands and cast spells from the top of your library. It costs 1 blue and 2 generic mana to reconfigure. This is a very excellent card because you can cast right off the... Actually, it's not even a cast. It's a play. It's not a cast. It's a play. And that's very, very, very powerful, especially when you can look at it. It's almost Scry-like. So most definitely for equipment, any equipment decks, if you have the Reality Chip, go for it. Throw it in there if you're playing blue. And again, this is another one that you can use as a commander. This is a good recommendation for a commander deck. This is actually pretty good because it's only 2 mana for beginners. I highly recommend. This is a card that would like to highly recommend for beginner commanders because as you can see here, it's only 2 mana, so you don't have to worry about the command attacks, and it's 1 generic and 1 blue, so you don't have to worry about having another color. Although you're going to be playing mono blue entirely, just to be fair. But it's a great way to get to learn your commander decks and how to do commander decks and such. And the fact that you could be able to play cards right off the top of your deck is extraordinarily powerful. Of course, you have to make sure that it's attached. I'm surprised it doesn't say equipped though. Interesting that it doesn't say that's equipped. It says that it's attached. But nevertheless, once you reconfigure, you can be able to play cards right off the top. But that's what I'm talking about in terms of for beginner legendaries. And that one is a very excellent beginner legendary because it's 2 on the cheap, and you get to learn an advanced mechanism in Reconfigure. Thundering Raiju. Now these are the first of the modified creatures, which is interesting because I don't know when modified came in, but I discovered modified when I came back. And what modified does, basically, there are 3 specific cards that are designated as being modified. that as modification cards, modifications, and that is equipment, auras you control, and counters. Those are modifications, which is very thematic, quite honestly. And that means that equipment creatures, since they're equipment, modifies your creatures. And so basically, in Kamigawa exclusively, this is in Neon Dynasty exclusively, you'll find this modified keyword. And whenever you have an aura, equipment, or a counter, like for example, a +1/+1 counter, those are modified, and you get these bonuses from these creatures. So we're starting with Thundering Raiju, a spirit type. It has haste. Whenever Thundering Raiju attacks, you put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Then Thundering Raiju deals X damage to each opponent, where X is the number of modified creatures you control other than Thundering Raiju. So basically what happens is that you actually get to add more damage, pile-on damage. It's a 3/3 creature. So when you attack with a 3/3 creature, you automatically gonna do damage regardless of the outcome of Thundering Raiju. So even if it gets blocked out, if you have, you get to put the +1/+1 counter, and then you get to do additional damage to your opponent. So if you have enough modifications, you like say 10, you could be doing 13 damage. It's insane. It's very insane. Pretty good card. Pretty good modifier card. Then here's the next modifier card. I originally had this in my Goblin deck, but since I didn't have any dragons, it was pointless, and I didn't have enough modifications to really justify having it in my Elite deck, which consists primarily of goblins and Viashinos. Goto, Disciple of Ryusei. Legendary creature, Goblin Samurai. Great for Samurai decks, especially if you have Samurai with dragons. He's a 2/2 creature. Red. Creatures you control gain haste until end of turn. 3 generic mana and 2 red. You create a 5/5 red dragon spirit creature token with flying. Activate only if you control an attacking modified creature. So, equip a creature with reconfiguration, or throw in an enchantment aura, and just tap for 5 and you get yourself a dragon. A nice flying dragon. No, that's the only string attached, and in the deck like this, that's not a problem. Because you need a modified creature. And with Thundering Raiju, you're guaranteed to get a +1/+1 counter, and you only need one +1/+1 counter. That's what's good about this, is that you only need one creature that's modified to activate this. That's it. So there's not much of a drawback to it. Very excellent card to have in your reconfigured decks. Orochi Merge creature keeper, green snake druid, mana dork. Tap to get 1 green, and as long as Orochi keeper is modified, it has tap and generate 2 green mana. So just equip it. That's it. Equip it. Keep it equipped. And you can tap for green, 2 green every single turn. Great mana source there. Good mana source there. This one I got from the pre-con deck. This is Aki Battle Squad. I wanted it so badly. This was the impetus of me getting that deck, or else I would never have bought the deck. I would have been satisfied with what I got, but with the cards that I had. But I wanted this particular card because this one is nasty. Whenever one or more modified creatures you control attack, untap all modified creatures you control. After this combat phase, there is an additional combat phase. This ability triggers only once each turn. I equip my creatures, I attack my creatures, I untap and attack again. This is some sick stuff here, man. So yeah, Thundering Raiju, all those +1/+1 counters. Oh, I'll attack with those +1/+1 counters. Oh, and I'll do it again. Pretty excellent card. This is a 6/6 creature for 6 mana. 1 red and 5 generic. Very excellent. This one is also from the pre-con. This is Kami of Celebration. This is a very good spirit card. It's the 3/3 for 5 mana for generic 1 red. Whenever a modified creature you control attacks, exile the top card of your library, and you may play that card this turn. So it's a play, not a cast. So you don't have to worry about counters, and it doesn't matter what the card is. You could put it right out there, and there's absolutely no reason why you want to ignore that, unless of course you're playing specialized exile decks where you're doing exile triggers and everything. Then yeah, it makes sense to not remove it from exile. But for a deck like this, yeah, you want to get it out of exile immediately. Its second ability is whenever you cast a spell from exile, put a +1/+1 counter on a target creature you control. So yeah, there's incentive. +1/+1 counter, more modifications. Here's one from black. This is the Unforgiving one. 2 generic and a black to play, to cast. It comes with Menace. This creature can't be blocked except by 2 or more creatures. Whenever Unforgiving 1 attacks, return target creature card with mana value X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield, where X is the number of modified creatures you control. So, I happen to have 10 modified creatures. That means I could bring out Goro Goro if I lost him, because he's 6 mana. Because he's got 6 mana and I have 10 modified creatures. I'm short. I'm short 1 modified creature. Okay, tap reconfigure. Modified, done. Now I can bring Gargoyle back. This one is Upriser Renegade, Human Samurai. Very straightforward. Beautiful artwork here for him, especially with that pompadour. 1/3 creature. Upriser Renegade gets +2/+0 for each other modified creature you control. Crazy, huh? +2/+0. This is yeah. I happen to have 10 modified creatures. Oh, now it's an 11. It's an 11/3. This one I've been struggling to fit into so many decks. In a lot of my commander decks, and it finally has a home. The Walking Skyscraper. It's a construct. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each modified creature you control. So, it's an 8 mana. So I have 8 modified creatures. Free. There you go. A free drop. I get an 8/8 creature with trample, and Walking Skyscraper has hexproof as long as it's untapped. It can't be the target of spells or abilities your opponents control. So as long as it stays untapped, he'll never get targeted. But if I tap him, yeah, he's as good as screwed. So you want to make sure you can swing, you get a good swing off with him. Then we got Shishiro, the Shattered Blade, which is the featured legendary in the Upgrades Unleashed precon. Snake Samurai. Whenever an aura or equipment enters the battlefield under your control, create a 2/2 red spirit creature token with Menace. So it creates a creature every time I cast, which is great with my recovery cards, because this is an enters the battlefield effect. So those recovery cards that I have, when they come back in, I get a creature, and I always get a free creature. At the beginning of your end step, put a +1/+1 counter on each modified creature you control. So Chishiro basically boosts modified creatures every single turn. So make sure you're modified. Make sure you have modified creatures to take advantage. This is a card that I love a lot. I squeeze them in whenever I can into my if I can fit them in to my commander decks, if I ever get the chance. Whenever I get the chance, I think I pulled that off. Do I have that in my first sliver deck? It should be my first sliver deck. The Tawashi Guidebot. When Tawashi Guidebot enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on a target creature you control, so you get free modified. And what happens is that it's got 4 mana and a tap, and you get to draw a card. However, it has a bonus. This ability costs 1 generic mana less to activate for each modified creature you control. So since it's already going to give you a +1/+1 counter, you only have to pay 3 mana and tap to draw a card. You get some more, and it's a free tap, and you get a free card draw. Very, very powerful, very, very potent. It's a 2/1 creature, so it's an easy target. So you've all probably noticed on the right side, as I was talking about the Tawashi Guidebot. This was from the ancient days of yore, when I started in Magic, and I came across all these guys and ended up getting 10 of the 12 that only exist in all of Magic Gathering. The Licid. The Licid is the Reconfigure before Reconfigure. It is not very well written in its instruction. Like it's not difficult, especially because it got errated. Because it had to get errated from what it was back in the Tempest era. This one is from Exodus, but from that whole Tempest block basically. But basically, the Licids do what Reconfigured and Equipment creatures do. It starts off as a creature, and then you pay mana and attach it to another creature, and it gets enchanted. In this case, due to errata, that would be Enchantment Aura. But the problem is, where Reconfigure became fundamentally clear that it's a sorcery spell and you can pay to detach it. This wasn't made very clear how to detach it because it does have the ability to detach. And what it is that the detachment for Licids is considered it's not considered, it is a special action. And special actions, I'm going to show you when I get into the comprehensive rules, has a very unique set of rules that has to be followed. Because it's not an instant speed, it's not a sorcery speed, it's a special action speed, and it's got its own timing rules and everything. But I remembered I had the Licids, and I'm looking at Reconfigure, and I wanted them in. There was just only one key problem. 7 of the 5 cards were of great benefit to you, in a sense, and I don't have 2 of those. I only got 5 of those 7. The other 5 that I do have, they affect the opponent. No different than any enchantment aura. But the problem is that, again, because the detachment rules is a special action, there's timing rules involved. And that's why I didn't add them in. But I would like to add them in, but I can't add them in. Even though I could attach it to my own creatures and so on. But anyway, that's the whole situation here. So let's start off with the Transmogrifying Licid. I'm going to read off as it's worded. Transmogrifying Licid counts as a Licid. So basically, it's a creature type Licid. It's an artifact creature Licid. 1 mana, tap. 1 mana and a tap. Transmogrifying Licid loses this ability and becomes a creature enchantment that reads: enchanted creature gets +1/+1 and counts as an artifact instead of any other type of permanent. Move Transmogrifying Licid onto target creature. You may pay 1 to end this effect. So, so basically what happens is this. Let me pull this creature up. Here's Tawashi Guidebot. So I tap for 1 mana. I tap this. I attach it. Now Tawashi Guidebot gets +1/+1, and it's an artifact creature, even though it's already an artifact creature. But in order for me to remove the Transmogrifying Licid, I have to have priority. That's the special action, a special action priority. And then I could be able to remove it. So even though this is going to be attached during my turn, I have no problem doing it. But for other Licids that I will show you after the walkthrough, that's the hard part and why they never got reprinted. Even though they could have been, even though the Licids can come back thanks to Reconfigure, they can apply the Reconfigure rule to, errata. They can errata the Licids to be reconfigured, and anyway, it's a whole lot. It's a whole lot. But let's keep this going. Next up is the Gliding Licid. For blue mana and a tap, the Gliding Licid loses this ability and becomes an enchanted, a creature enchantment that reads: enchanted creature gains flying. Instead of a creature, move Gliding Licid onto target creature. You may pay blue to end this effect. Now, remember, just to make note that in the errata, it's not creature enchantment, it's enchantment aura, because that's its behavior. Creature enchantment back in the days used to say enchant creature, and that's what they mean by creature enchantment in the context of the Licid. But it's in fact an enchantment aura. That's its behavior. It's a 2/2, and it gives your creature flying, and then you pay blue to end this effect. So the whole purpose of Licids is the same purpose as Reconfigure. You attach them to creatures, you get the bonuses, and then you could put them back. Then you could remove them and make them creatures again. Very, very, very insane, very powerful. Corrupting Licid, black tap, and the Corrupting Licid becomes an enchantment aura. This ability becomes a creature enchantment that reads: enchanted creature cannot be blocked except by artifact creatures and black creatures. Instead of a creature, move corrupting Licid onto target creature. You may pay black to end this effect. So yeah, it was very wordy back then. Back in those days, they were very, very wordy. And here's the green one, nurturing Licid. Green and a tap. Nurturing Licid loses this ability and becomes a creature enchantment that reads: green, tap green, regenerate enchanted creature. So you get regeneration. Instead of a creature, move nurturing Licid onto target creature. You may pay green to end this effect. So yeah, you get to regenerate your creature. You can give it regeneration. Quickening Licid. This one is a little bit more expensive to activate. You get 1 generic mana and a white. Tap. Quickening Licid loses this ability and becomes a creature enchantment that reads: enchanted creature gains first strike. Not bad. Instead of a creature, move Quickening Licid onto target creature. You may pay white to end this effect. So yeah, this was Reconfigure before Reconfigure. Reconfigure kind of, in a sense, refined what the Licids were intending to do. But as to whether they'll bring back Reconfigure or create an enchantment version of Reconfigure so they can bring back the Licids, we don't know. But no matter what, with regards to the Licids in and of themselves, they are a special action to use that one special ability. And you got to have a priority in order to pull it off. That's the timing of it all. Now, here's the fun part. Because the problem with this particular deck, they're all supporting creatures. Even though I have modified creatures that can fight, they're still not strong enough, quite honestly. So they need backup. And that backup are the Kamigawa dragons. So when I was buying packs left and right, because I was trying to get specific cards, particularly Weaver of Harmony, from Neon Dynasty, I ended up getting these guys. Except for this one. This one I bought Singleton. This was a Singleton purchase. Kyodai Soul of Kamigawa, Dragon Spirit. Flash Flying. When Kyodai Soul of Kamigawa enters the battlefield, another target permanent gains indestructible for as long as you control Kyodai. For 5 colors, Kyodai gets +5/+5 until end of turn. This was going to be my commander. But I found Sisay, and Sisay proved to be a lot more better. And since she deals with legendaries, and I happen to have 4 of the 5 Sky Dragons, I figured, hey, you know what? Not only that, but I also had Artificers, and I wanted to use the multicolored legendary Artificers, but I didn't find them to. I wasn't. Not only was I not getting them out, but I didn't think that they were really strong enough to help with the equipment creature situation. I don't know. I don't think they were. They would have been very effective. Plus, I needed more swinging creatures as opposed to support. So I didn't go with them, which would have made sense. Artificers, but I went with these guys here. Kura, the Boundless Sky, Flying Death Touch. When Kura, the Boundless Sky dies, choose 1. Search your library for up to 3 land cards, reveal them and put them into your hand, then shuffle. Create an XX green spirit creature token, where X is the number of lands you control. 4/4. Then I drew this one out of the pack also. Junji, the Midnight Sky, Flying Menace. When Junji, the Midnight Sky dies, choose 1. Each opponent discards 2 cards and loses 2 life. Put target non-dragon creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control, lose 2 life. And then here's this one that I pulled out from the packs. This is Atsushi, the Blazing Sky, Flying Trample. When Atsushi, the Blazing Sky dies, choose 1. Exile the top 2 cards of your library until the end of your next turn. You may play those 2 cards. Play, not casting. Awesome. And then I get to create, or I could create 3 treasure tokens. So it's a mana pool. And then finally, I have Owl the Dawn Sky, which has Flying Vigilance. When Owl the Dawn Sky dies, choose 1. Look at the top 7 cards of your library. Put any number of non-land permanent cards with total mana value 4 or less from among them onto the battlefield. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. or I could put 2+1/+1 counters on a permanent you control as a creature or a vehicle. So basically, what it's saying is, let's say I got the rabbit battery. Let's say I got three among the 7 cards I pull out. I have 3 reconfigured cards that total 4 the total mana. Oh no, sorry, I'm misreading that. Put any number of permanent cards with total value among them. So let's say I have 7 reconfigured cards that are 4 with a total mana. Put any number of non-land permanent cards with total mana value 4 or less. No, I think I was thinking it the right way. If I have rabbit battery and let's see. Mm, so if I had a Licid, which is let me see here. Um, let's see. Well, the point is that if among the 7 I have 4 cards that total 4 or less combined, I could put all 4 out in the field. That's what it's basically doing. So these are kind of like holdovers because I want the other dragons from the Kamigawa block, the original Kamigawa block, the star dragons. I got I'll show you the ones that I have so far. But for now, I'm just using this one, Kiku Knight's Flower, 4 mana. Let's see, it's 2 mana, 2 black mana to cast, 1 creature. 2 generic, 2 black in the tap. I could target creature deals damage to itself equal to its power. So, oh, there's a 10/10 creature on the field. Oh, okay, then it'll do damage to itself equal to its 10 damage. It's dead. I have the other Weatherlight Captain. This is Johora. I hope I'm pronouncing that. Yora? I don't know. She's an artificer. She's the only artificer that I kept. She's the only artificer that I kept from the 5 that I put in here. Whenever you cast a historic spell, draw a card. Very simple. Historic spells are the groups of artifacts, legendaries, and sagas. And since I have legendaries, artifacts, and a saga, I can drop them out. I can draw a card. Tiana, ship's caretaker. Another artificer for flying first strike. Whenever an aura or equipment you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, you may return that card to its owner's hand at the beginning of the next end step. So yeah, it's a nice card retrieval. She was not one of the original artificers that I wanted to use. Teshar, Ancestor's Apostle, legendary creature, bird, cleric, flying. Whenever you cast a historic spell, return target creature card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Artifacts, legendaries, and sagas, of course, are historic. Then I have this one here, Heiko Yamazaki, the General. Trample. Whenever a samurai or warrior you control attacks alone, you may cast target artifact card from your graveyard this turn. Now remember, it says cast, so you got to pay the mana to play it out of the graveyard. And now here are the instance and miscellaneous stuff. Diabolic Edict. Target player sacrifices a creature. This is Ambitious Assault. Creatures you control get +2/+0 until end of turn. If you control a modified creature, draw a card. So another quick draw there, along with giving my creatures +2/+0. This one I pulled out from the pre-con deck, Concord with the Kami. At the beginning of your end step, choose 1 or more. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature with a counter on it. Draw a card if you control an enchanted creature. And create a 1/1 colorless spirit creature token if you control an equipped creature. So what's very unique about Concord of Kami is that all 3 of these effects have one thing in common: modified. They're all based on the modified keyword. +1/+1 counter, enchanted creature, or equipped creature, and you get one of these effects. And they're at the beginning of the end step, and you could pick all 3. You could do all 3 if you have all 3 modifications. Here's my creature wipe. Winds of Wrath. Destroy all creatures with no enchantments on them. Those creatures cannot be regenerated this turn. And everyone's favorite blue. Blue instant. Fact or Fiction. Reveal the top 5 cards of your library, and opponent separates these cards into 2 piles. Put 1 pile into your hand and the other into your graveyard. Then here we have a white-blue aura, staggering insight, enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 and has lifelink. And whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. So you could get life back and a card draw. Pretty good. This one is white and green. I had been in and out with this with my Sithis deck, but at least this found a home. A quick creature gets +2/+2 and has trample, and whenever enchanted creature deals damage, you gain that much life. So it's a nice life gaining trampler, complementary with the other deck, the other card. Expressive iteration. Look at the top 3 cards of your library, put one of them into your hand, put one of them on the bottom of your library, and exile one of them, and you may play that the exiled card this way. So it's a nice little synergy with the other card that I have that gives +1/+1 when an exile card comes into play. Diabolic Vision. Look at the top 5 cards of your library, put one of them into your hand and the rest on top of your library in any order. Brainstorm, basically. Invigorating Hot Springs from Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. Invigorating Hot Springs enters the battlefield with 4 +1/+1 counters. Modified creatures you control have haste. Remove a +1/+1 counter from the hot spring, and then you put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Activate only as a sorcery and once each turn. So that prevents the spam of putting all 4 +1/+1 counters on there. But the important thing is that it does have an effect after the counters are gone, and that is that your modified creatures you control have haste. So you don't have the Rapid Battery, but you have the Invigorating Hot Springs. Attach a Leech Gauntlet on it, and now you have haste and menace. Rhythm of the Wild. Creature spells you control can't be countered, which is excellent. Non-token creatures you control have Riot. Riot says they enter the battlefield with your choice of a +1/+1 counter or a haste. In this case here, it's always going to be a +1/+1 counter. Haste would probably be situational, but I would always put a +1/+1 counter. Here's another creature removal, another board wipe. Time wipe. Return a creature you control to its owner's hand, then destroy all creatures, which is pretty nasty. And I have Decimate, in which I destroy a target artifact, creature. Sorry, let me rephrase this. Destroy target artifact, target creature, target enchantment, and target land. So yeah, this is basically a weak Cataclysm, because it only targets 1 card each, one of each type card, but pretty good. It's a good way to really get rid of any key cards here. Now this fun one, I'm definitely want to try and make sure I keep that. I'm hoping that I'm not forced to remove it or anything. Hitotsugu Consumes All. This is a enchantment saga. Destroy each non-land permanent with mana value 1 or less. Exile all graveyards. Exile this saga, then return it to the battlefield transformed under your control. What does it become? Ooh, what does this card become? It becomes Vessel of the All-Consuming. Trample. Whenever Vessel of the All-Consuming deals damage, you put a +1/+1 counter on it. Whenever Vessel of the All-Consuming deals damage to a player, if it has dealt 10 or more damage to that player this turn, that player loses the game. A fun little card, given that I have modifications. So yeah, I attach the modifications and boost them up to 10. Get some +1/+1 counters on it. Yeah, you're in trouble. And then equip it with a menace or flying from the gliding Licid. Yeah, you're you're in trouble. Oh, and I can even put Kieran on it, so I can't lose the game, and you don't get to win the game. All I'm gonna do is take you out. Enchantment. This is Maelstrom Nexus. The first spell you cast each turn has Cascade. So I get to so the first card that I play, I get to Cascade and search for a card that's lower. Pretty good card. Good. To get your cards out, and it's a full-on cast and everything. Mana Rocks, Marble Diamond. It comes into battlefield tap and tap for a white. Modest Diamond comes into play tap for green. Charcoal Diamond comes into play, tap for black. Sky Diamond comes into play, tap for blue. Tap for blue. Fire Diamond comes into play, tap, and you tap for red. Here's some Rainbow Rocks. I've got my hands on the Dark Steel Ingot. Indestructible, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Another one that I got, bought the Singleton. Was able to purchase the single. $4.50, just so you know. It only cost $4.50. It was pretty cool. Chromatic Lantern. Lands you control have tap, add 1 mana of any color, and you can tap this card and add 1 color of any mana. 1 mana of any color. Arcane Signet, a staple of commanders, which can tap for your commander's color identity, as well as the Chromatic Spear, which you can tap for your commander's color identity, or you can sacrifice it and draw a card. Fell War Stone, in which you can tap and add 1 color, 1 mana of any color that a land an opponent controls could produce. Then we have Network Terminal, another card that I really like, straight out of Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. Add 1 mana of any color, tap 1 mana in a tap another untapped artifact you control as well, and you have to draw a card, then discard a card. So it's a great way to get some cards if you need it. This is the one to help alongside the fetch lands. Journeyer's Kite. For 3 mana and a tap, search your library for a basic land card, reveal it and put it into your hand, then shuffle. So my recommendation, don't play a land if it's in your hand. Play this. When you're playing this, tap it and go into your deck and play it from there directly. Hold off on dropping lands until you get what you're looking for. In this case here with Journeyer's Kite, I would be getting all 5 colors. I would use it to get whatever 5 colors I need to fill it out so I could start rainbowing. And then I could play my lands normally. Gilded Lotus. This was on the cheap. We're talking $2, man. I got this for $2. Tap, add 3 mana of any 1 color. So you can only tap for 3 black, 3 blue, 3 white, and so on. Voltaic Key. I'm hoping I could get the Manifold Key because that one is just as awesome. But it's very simple. 1 mana and a tap, and you untap target artifact. So great way to straighten that out. And finally, Hearthstone. Not the game. This one. The cost of each creature ability requiring an activation cost is reduced by 1. This cannot reduce an ability's generic mana cost to less than 1. Basically, Reconfigure gets cheaper. That's the whole point. Reconfigure as well as the Licids get 1 generic mana less cheaper. And that is great. There is one set of cards I want to fit in here. I don't have them with me, but it's pretty obvious if I tell you. Vehicles. I want vehicles. I would like to put vehicles into this deck. I don't know how I'll fit them in, but I did give it a try when I first tested it out. And excuse me, and it was pretty funny because I tapped my equipment creature to crew the vehicle. Then I reconfigured the creature and attached it to my vehicle, and then I swung with my reconfigured equipped artifact creature vehicle. I can assure you, I got a loud laugh out of that one. One of my opponents laughed out loud on that one because it was really freaking hilarious. And what was great about it was that it detached. At the end, I'm still trying to figure out if it stays tapped, though, since I had to tap to crew it, or if it resets, untaps. Who knows? Let's see. Here's let me show you the other Licids. I would like to fit them in there, but I don't know if it's a good idea or not. I don't know what benefit it'll do, but here's Leeching Licid. Black tap, and the enchanted creature that you attach it to, when you attach it to a creature, enchantment aura, it reads, during the upkeep of enchanted creature's controller, Leeching Licid deals 1 damage to that player. And of course you gotta pay black to end the effect. So if I attach it to my opponent creature, Then during their upkeep, they'll slowly lose 1 life, and I can detach it so long as I have as a special action. Here's Stinging Licit, 1 mana and a blue, tap. It loses its ability and becomes an enchantment aura. Whenever enchanted creature becomes tapped, Stinging Licit deals 2 damage to that creature's controller. Pay blue to end the effect to detached. It's not too bad, but for a commander, 2 damage. I mean, if you stack it up with leeching Licit, you're talking about 3 damage. But it's a good deterrent. The opponent will have to decide whether to tap and take 2 damage or not. You know what I mean? But I don't think it's really strong enough to do so. This one is I'm a little in and out on this one, but this is the Convulsing Licit. Red tap. It becomes enchantment aura, and enchanted creature cannot block. That's what it does to the creature. It can't block. You may pay red to end this effect. This would be good for maybe in the early stages of the game when there's very few creatures and you could block the biggest one and make your opponent block with the little ones, or let your guys go through. But I don't see this being very good in the late stages. So I don't know if it's very effective, especially for its 3 mana casting cost. It's a 2/2, so it could do a good block, but I don't know if it's really that strong enough as a card to do against your opponent. Tempting Licit becomes an enchantment aura that reads, all creatures able to block enchanted creature do so. And you pay green to detach. This is very, very, very tactical. Because you could attach it to your creature if you had, like I could, like if I wanted to, I could attach the Tempting Licit to my Walking Skyscraper, and make my opponent, force my opponent to block it, while the rest of my creatures go through. So it's not bad. It's not that bad, but I don't know if it's really worth risking losing, a big creature. One of the things that I could see potentially, given that I have flyers, is to force my opponent to block my flyers with the Tempting Licit. And since they can't block a flyer, they won't be able to stop not only my flyer, but the rest of my creatures. I could see that working. But it's, again, it's very tactical, but it might be something that I may consider throwing in there. Although I might throw, if I wanted to throw all of them, I would throw all 10 of these in. Last is the Calming Licit, which is basically pacifism. It's 1 in the tap. Enchanted creature cannot attack. It's pacifism. From what I understand, pacifism is not really that big a thing. It's not really that good. So the only reason I would probably use those lists is just for the modification boosts. But I don't think they're that much worth it. But it's something that I would consider if I want, more Licids. But the thing is that there's 2 other Licids, which I'll show you in the second on Scryfall, that I would prefer to have, and I wouldn't mind running just 7 Licids. I don't need to run like 10 or 15 of them. 7 Licids is good enough for this type of deck. Say 10 Reconfigure, 7 Licids. I think that's good enough. So I want to get these guys here. I'm missing 2 colors from this one. I have Yosei the Morning Star, flying, 5/5. When Yosei the Morning Star is put into a graveyard from play, target player skips his or her next untap step. Tap up to 5 target permanents that player controls. That's nasty. Keiga the Tide Star, which is blue. When it's put into the graveyard, gain control of target creature permanently. You got that indestructible 10/10 creature? Sure, I will take that. I don't think I don't think that will work. No, indestructible. I said indestructible. It's not hexproof. Hexproof is won't let that work. And then I have Yusei the Falling Star. When Yusei the Falling Star is put into a graveyard, it deals 5 damage to each creature without flying. So it's a creature wipe, basically, for non-flying creatures. potential creature wipe. It all depends. But I would like to put these three in. I'm missing the other two stars, and I'm missing Kairi to complete my Kamigawas. So yeah, I'm willing to play the dragons. I'm interested in playing all 10 dragons, the sky and star dragons, and unleashing all kinds of crazy mayhem when they get reconfigured and everything, and get those reconfigured bonuses. Alright, so that is my walkthrough of Sisay Weatherlight Captain. There's still plenty of room of improvement. It's a fun play. I would like to throw vehicles in there, especially. I would like to throw some vehicles in there because it's pretty funny. You know, saying to crew them and reconfigure them all at the same time. It's hilarious, and I got some. Well, despite criticisms of few, yeah, some of the cars, vehicles I got are decent, but not powerful. But you know, I'm not looking to make the ultimate powerful deck. I just want to have fun, you know, making reconfiguring vehicles. It's just hilarious. But yeah, let me show you in Scryfall. Oh, and I'm gonna. Oh yes. Well, you know what? Since I'm here right now, let me look for. Timing priority 117. Here we go. Special actions 116. There we are. There we go. I found it. Good old table of contents. Let's start with special actions in regards to the Licids. This is a very very important for Licids to understand the Licids. All right. So there are 10 special actions. Playing a land is a special action. To play a land, a player puts that land onto the battlefield from the zone it was in. By default, a player can take this action only once during each of their turn. A player can take this action anytime they have priority and a stack. Okay, let me start with the preamble here. Special actions are actions a player may take when they have priority that don't use the stack. That's the key thing here. It's the special action is when you have priority that doesn't use the stack. So if you're not putting anything on the stack, if you don't have anything, any stackage, when you have priority, you get a special it's a special action out of this. These are not to be confused with turn-based actions and state-based actions, which the game generates automatically. So, yeah, that's basically how that works. You know, saying you get priority. It's very unique, and there's a whole lot that's going on here. So, like for example, it says right here, one card circling vultures. I think I have that. Has the ability, you may discard circling vultures anytime you could cast an instant. That is a special action. So that's what they mean by special action. And a player can take such an action anytime they have priority. So what we're looking for, let's see here. Which was it that it said? I think this is it right here. 116.2c. Some effects allow a player to take an action at a later time, usually to end a continuous effect or to stop a delayed trigger ability from triggering. Doing so is a special action. A player can take such an action anytime they have priority, unless that effect specifies another timing restriction for as long as the effect allows it. I believe this is the one, because that's what the Licids secondary, their detachment ability says. Wait, what am I doing? I have it right here. Yeah, because it says right here, you may pay white to end this effect. So that's what makes it a special ability, because it's a continuous effect that can shut off later on down the line, during the game. And since it's to end the continuous effect, that being enchanted creature cannot attack, which is pacifism, it's treated as a special action, and you have to do it only when you have priority, which also includes let's see here, timing and priority. Right here, a player may take some special actions anytime they have priority. A player may take other special actions during their main phase anytime they have priority, and the stack is empty. Yeah, there you go. So if a priority happens during your opponent's turn, if I'm understanding this correctly, um, for the licit, because this would be attached technically. I don't even know why I'm doing this. I'm sorry. I just realized. Here we go. There. Where it says you may pay 1 white mana to end this effect on calming licit. You would attach this to your opponent because this is pacifism. So if you want to detach this from your opponent's creature, you got to do it when you have priority. So you could do it on your turn, but if you want to do it during your opponent's turn, you got to make sure you have priority. That doesn't go on the stack. If you don't have if that's not happening during your opponent's turn, you can yank him out. So make sure to always pay attention to when you have the priority, because what you don't want happening to your Licids, because they are enchantment aura. Enchantment auras go to the graveyard when they detach from a creature. If you don't want to lose this Licid, make sure that your priority timing is correct and you can tap it and retrieve it before your opponent's creature dies. There you go. So always pay attention to your priority. During your opponent's turn, and you could get it out. So yeah, that's so that's how Licids work in a nutshell. How their priorities function and operate. It's pretty tricky. It's pretty tough, quite honestly. But let me give you a quick walkthrough of Reconfigure. Real quickly. It's in the 700s. Here we are. Let's see. We got learn, connive. Let's see here. Let me give you a quick walkthrough of Reconfigure so you can understand fully where I'm going with this deck. Because that's what this deck is all about. It's a modification deck. Let's see here. Double discard. Let me scroll up to the top here. Here we are. General? No, that's the general rules. Where's the keyword rules? Oh no, I'm in the 700s here. Okay. 700 rules. Okay. So let's find Reconfigure. Here we go. Keyword actions. Activate, attach, cast counter, create, destroy, discard, double, exchange, exile, fight, mill, play, regenerate, reveal, sacrifice, scry, search, shuffle, tap and untap. Let's see, clash, set in motion. That's a lot of keywords. Man, that's a whole level of laziness. I'm joking. Let's see, connive, convert. The ring tempts you. It tempts you always. Discover. Okay. Keyword abilities. Okay, there we are. This makes sense. Equipped, flash, hexproof, indestructible, land walk, protection, reach, shroud, trample, or banding. Yay, banding. Rampage. Yay, rampage. Flanking. Yay, flanking. Woo. Cycling, horsemanship, kicker, madness. Let's see. It's, man, so many keywords they've made over the years. It's insane. Offering, ninjutsu, not jutsu. Misspelling that word. You need a slap. Forecast, graph, recover, ripple, split second. Ooh, boy. Where is Reconfigure? I guess it would probably be at the very bottom. Cascade, rebound, infect. Soulbound. That's a weird one. I sometimes wonder if they were just throwing darts on these things, and you ended up with what was that one? That the scale is based after, and ensures that banding with other will never have it. The scale, the X scale, whatever it's called. I'm, I forgot. I'm old. Where the heck is Reconfigure? Jeez, man. What is it, all the way at the bottom? I don't want to scroll too fast. I just want to show how Reconfigure works. Very important for this deck to understand Reconfigure fully. Oh my gosh, did I pass it up? Rolling a die, flipping a coin. State-based actions, turn-based action, craft, bargain, backup. I wish they had a card search, like a text search. That really stinks, man. Oh, here it is. Found it. My gosh, it's only that small, huh? Reconfigure 702.151. A. Reconfigure represents two activated abilities. Reconfigure cost means cost, attach this permanent to another creature you control. Activate only as a sorcery. And cost, unattach this permanent. Activate only if this permanent is attached to a creature and only as a sorcery. B. Attaching an equipment with Reconfigure to another creature causes the equipment to stop being a creature until it becomes unattached from that creature. So they didn't really give much to this. Wow, that's interesting. That's the those are the only two rules. That's insane. So I was expecting a little bit more on the ruling side there. That's very interesting. But basically, with reconfigured creatures, you don't have to tap them. You know, they don't get tapped when you attack. When you attack, you tap the creature, the attacking creature. The reconfigured card stays untapped, and if should the creature die, it goes it falls back onto the field untapped. Or you could unattach, you could detach it when you pay the reconfigured cost, and that will also be untapped. That will remain untapped. So you'll always have a blocking creature no matter what when you unattach, so long as you keep it untapped. But if you do something like crew, if you crew, you can still reconfigure, but it's going to be tapped, and it's not going to return untapped, I believe, if I'm understanding it correctly. It's interesting that this is not conveyed here. So let's go to Scryfall, and let's see. Oh no, better yet. Let's go to the Gatherer. Actually, the Gatherer should have the ruling. Gatherer. Let us Gatherer at Magic, and we'll just pull up one creature, the Rabbit Battery. Let's see what the Oracle has to say. Here we go. Woo! Look at all these rulings on here. Reconfigure represents two activated abilities. Reconfigure cost means, that's what we read in the comprehensive rules. Reconfigure cost means cost : attaches permanent to another target creature you control. Activate only as sorcery. And cost : unattach this permanent. Activate only if this permanent is attached to a creature and only as a sorcery. Attaching an equipment with Reconfigure to a creature causes the equipment to stop being a creature until it becomes unattached. It also loses any creature subtypes it had. An equipment creature, an equipment doesn't become tapped when the permanent it's attached to becomes tapped. So that's what I was talking about. For example, if you attack with a creature that is equipped with Acquisition Octopus, then use Reconfigure to unattach Acquisition Octopus after combat, the octopus will be untapped and could be used to block during your opponent's turn. That's why Reconfigure is awesome. Oh, I get to give my creature +1/+1 in haste with the Rabbit Battery? Sure. And now I have a 1/1 blocking creature during my opponent's turn. Similarly, if an equipment is tapped, its Reconfigure abilities may still be activated, and it may still become attached to creature. Becoming attached doesn't untap it, so I was right about that. In most cases, an attached equipment being tapped won't affect gameplay, but it will be relevant if it becomes unattached again before it untaps. So I was correct. If you crew with an equipment creature, you can reconfigure it, but it's being reconfigured tapped, and it comes back untapped unless some other type of ability makes it untapped. If an equipment with Reconfigure somehow loses its abilities while it is attached, the effect causing it to not be a creature continues to apply until it becomes unattached. As soon as an equipment creature with Reconfigure stops being a creature, any equipment and auras with enchant creature abilities become unattached. Auras that can enchant an equipment that isn't a creature remain attached to it. Hold on a second here. Equipment creature with Reconfigure stops being a creature. Any equipment and auras with enchanted creature abilities becomes unattached. Right, because it loses its creature. If it says enchant creature, you're basically screwed. You lose your enchantment. So again, with my Licids, if I use my Licids to attach and become equipment auras and attach to my Reconfigures, and I reconfigure, then I will lose my Licids. They will go to the graveyard if I'm not careful. So, yeah, that's fair. Auras that can enchant an equipment that isn't a creature remains attached to it. So if it says enchant equipment on your enchantment aura, it's fine. It doesn't matter if it becomes if you reconfigure or not. If it's as long as it says enchant artifact or enchant equipment, it stays no matter what, because it's an enchantment. It's an artifact. It's equipment. It meets the requirements basically. An equipment creature with Reconfigure can be attached to creatures by effects other than its reconfigure ability, such as the activated ability of Brass Squire. What does Brass Squire looks like? Is it what I think it looks like? Probably not. Where is the creature? Oh, sorry, I hit the wrong button there. Here we go. Nope, it was not what I thought it would look like. Attach target equipment you control to target creature you control. And what does it say here? An equipment creature with Reconfigure can be attached to creature by effects other than its Reconfigure ability, such as activated ability of Brass Squire. So what it's basically saying is that since Rabbit Battery, as you can see here, is an artifact creature equipment rabbit, because it meets the equipment requirements, Brass Squire can do what it does. It can attach target equipment you control to target creature you control. So you don't have to pay the cost. You could just tap the Squire and you get what you want. I may have to consider getting the Brass Squire. Although it causes an equipment to become attached to a creature, Reconfigure is not an equip ability. That's very important. Equip is its own ability. Reconfigure is its own ability. For the purpose of cards like Fighter Class and Leon and Shikati. But yes, Reconfigure is its own ability. It is not equip. Equip is its own ability. They are two separate things, and they don't do things with each other. So I could see what it says here. Equip abilities. It says it right here. Equip abilities you activate cost 2 less to activate. So no, you don't get to reduce the reconfigure cost, because reconfigure is reconfigure. Equip is equip. An equipment creature can never become attached to itself. If an effect tries to do this, nothing happens. So no, Rabbit Battery cannot reconfigure into its own self and become a +1/+1. It's already got haste. You don't get the +1/+1. If a permanent with Reconfigure is somehow still a creature after it becomes attached, perhaps due to an effect like March of the Machines, it immediately becomes unattached from the equipped creature. Okay. Okay, so if it gets so if it says artifacts, all artifacts are creatures. March of the Machines. Okay, let's look at March of the Machines. Okay. Paste. There we go. Here is March of the Machines. Each non-creature artifact is an artifact creature with power and toughness, each equal to its mana value. Got it. So so Rabbit Battery, when it's attached, is an artifact creature. If March of the Machines comes in, then it gets converted into an artifact creature, 1/1. Because when it's attached, it's a non-creature artifact. When you reconfigure, it becomes a non-creature artifact. So March of the Machines will affect Rabbit Battery and turn it into an artifact creature with power and toughness equal to its converted mana cost. So it becomes a plain 1/1 artifact creature. It loses everything if that happens. So yeah, make sure you reconfigure. If March of Machines is out there, yeah, be very careful with that. So yeah, that's how Reconfigure works in a nutshell. So in every sense of the way, it's shenanigans, basically. You know what I'm saying? Like I can reconfigure my Licids, or I can use my Licids and attach it to an equipment, to Rabbit Battery. or I can have them attach, attached to another creature. There's a whole lot of ways you could do it. You can mess around with this. Not only that, but just like equipment, you can use your reconfigure cost and move the rabbit battery over from one creature to another. So if I have Sisay out and Ryusei the Falling Star, I can move rabbit battery over to Ryusei the Falling Star from one creature to another. But I can't do that with the Licid. The Licid, unfortunately, does not have that ability. The Licid ends the effect, so it gets detached. So I'll have to pay. So if I want to say put Tempting Licid, I gotta pay the green. I gotta have 2 greens, one to detach it, and then one more to reattach it. Not very good. Not very good to do, quite honestly, but something of note. Now, as for my creatures, like I said, I'm willing to go with dragons all the way. The dragon spirits. Let me pull this up here. Creature, dragon, spirit, spirit, legendary. Legendary. All right, let's see if this will pull these guys up specific. There we are. Okay, so I definitely want to get this one here. This is Kyrie, the Swirling Star. This is the one that I'm missing among my Sky Dragons. Now I'll have all 5 Sky Dragons. I'm very shocked though that Kyodai Soul of Kamigawa is not a mythic rare and treated as such. I'm very shocked. And not even not only that, but it's not a gold creature. This should have been a gold creature, and have all 5 colors, and a better effect and everything. I mean, if you're gonna call yourself the Soul of Kamigawa, you shouldn't be restricted to white. I'm actually really shocked, honestly. This is a misstep on Magic's part. This should have Kyodai should have been a rainbow dragon, all 5 colors. 5/5, a better ability with for indestructible, and it should have been a mythic rare. This should not be this. This is terrible. Actually, that's a terrible design and a wasted opportunity because he would have been the perfect commander for my deck. And then I could have gotten. I already have Ryusei and Yosei, and I have Keiga. So I'm missing Kokusho, the Evening Star, and Jugan the Rising Star. Those are the only 2 star dragons. So yeah, this was a missed opportunity. Soul of Kamigawa should have been a rainbow, and then all I had to do was just get Kyrie, Jugan, and Kokusho, and I would have had all the rainbow dragons, spirit dragons, to play off of Kyodai with as my commander, and then operate it full on with Licids and Reconfigure. So yeah, Wizards, you dropped the ball big time. Shame on you. Shame. For shame. I understand. Okay, I see. There's Okagachi, Vengeful Kami. I don't know if I'm going to ever find this card. Deals combat damage to a player. If that player attacked you during their last turn, exile target non-land. I don't know if that's worth... I mean, I'm willing to replace Sisay for this. Okagachi. I'm willing to do that, just so I can have the Rainbow Dragon I'm looking for. But he's in the Dominaria United Commander. Interesting. I'll probably take that into consideration for having to replace Sisay with. I'm willing to replace Sisay, but Sisay is way more effective because she could bring the where Okagachi. Which I probably might just have as an additional. I don't know, but anyway, the point I'm saying is Sisay's better because she could bring out the dragons. As for the Licids, let's pull that up. Here are the Licids, and the only 2. As you can see, there's only 12 cards, and I have 10 of them. The 2 that I'm missing is the Enraging Licid and the Dominating Licid. And these are the 2 that I really actually want. Dominating Licid, 2 blue and a white, and 2 blue and a generic mana. He becomes an aura enchantment with enchant creature, attach it to a target. Basically, I can control an enchanted creature. I can steal my opponent's creature. Dominating Licid is the best of the Licids because I can steal a creature and I could just rain havoc on my opponent. The second best one is this one, Enraging Licid. When he becomes an enchantment or enchanted creature has haste. I like this one because it's the rabbit battery all over again. So with that, along with the rabbit battery together, yeah, I could be able to bring creatures out with the help of Sisay, and I can give both creatures haste and just swing hard with my legendary dragons. So yeah, those are the cards that I'm looking for. I do want vehicles. I really want vehicles. I just love the idea that the vehicles, saying I could reconfigure them and throw Licids on them. It's funny. It's hilarious. There's 106 vehicles out there. But the bulk of the vehicles, like the more solid vehicle cards I have, are in my Shotokai deck. Are they in my? Yeah, they're in my Shotokai deck because they're all about the vehicles. But the cards that I have, cards like Colossal Plow, I have Colossal Plow, Brute Suit, Cultivator's Caravan. I definitely need to get that back in there, along with this other one that I got. Was it this one? The Flywheel Racer? No. Yeah, I think it was that one. Yeah, I think it was that one. I can't remember, but I do have Poster Mech. Some of them that are sitting out. Mine. No, I put the Mind Leak Mech in the other deck. Let's see. But the point is that I want vehicles in here. No, I don't have the Peace Walker Colossus. That's in the Shotokai. Let's see. So the Silent Submersible. I want to get that back in there because I could draw a card anytime I deal damage, which can happen. Smuggler's Copter. Yeah, Smuggler's Copter. I want to get that back in there. I wouldn't mind doing Thundersteel Colossus. Crew 2 for 7/7 Trample Haste, but it's too expensive. It's, I guess I'm asking a lot for that one. To throw that into the deck. I do have it, but yeah. But I want the vehicles. I want so much in this deck. This deck is just so awesome. I really want so much in it, and it's a tough one. It's tough. It's tough. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind bringing in Okakachi, but I wouldn't make it the commander. Sisay is just way too better. I could search my library for a legendary, and I got other legendaries too outside of the dragons, like Goro, for example. So I can actually fetch that out. The reality chip. So it's good. It's all good. So that's my Sisay Weatherlight Captain left-handed modification deck. This is my modification deck. I'll figure out as time goes along how I'm gonna work them all in. If I get my hands on those 2 Licids that I really want, figure out how to squeeze those in as well. But yeah, share your thoughts on this if you're interested. If you go ahead. You want to make a deck like that? Go ahead, make it. Make your own version. You're welcome. You're always welcome to make versions of my commander decks that I've done walkthroughs on. You know what I mean? It's not copyrighted, but it is patented. So knock yourselves out. Have some fun. Thank you all for joining me. Sisay Weatherlight Captain commander deck. So I'm pretty much down to 2 more. One of them is not on the list, and that one is going to be a live construction because it's a hot mess. But the next one will be Silvo's Rogue Elemental. That'll be the next one. And then I'm going to go on, after I show build my 9th, do a live stream of building my 9th commander deck, sort of, kind of, sort of. Well, you'll see what I mean. Then this will go on hiatus, so I could take care of one vacation and other try and take care of some of the other stuff on my other channels. be sure to check them out. My Japanese language channel, my gaming channel, and my writing channel. My writing channel where I'm doing Let's Reads of One Piece manga. If you're interested in that, check it out. But the point is that I'm going to cover 2 more decks, and I'm going to put on hiatus for a brief time. So, and then I'll be back, and when I come back, we're gonna see what we could do with it. I mean, I know I'm not gonna have new decks, but maybe we could do some more stuff with my 9 decks, like analyzing the stats and such. Reading stats. I don't know, or maybe Maybe look at pre-con decks. Who knows? I don't know. I'll think about it. I'll think about it, but I do gotta do my vacation. So thank you all for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you all for Silvos Rogue Elemental. And with that said, I wish you all a good night, buenas noches, and oyasumi nasai.